We go to the other side of the pitch, just in terms of the right back, who's backing up Gary Silk? Because at the end of last season he was injured, and I believe, was it Stephen Eystead he played, or was it Carl Nix at right back?
No, it was Stephen who went in there, and obviously Stephen, it wasn't ever ideal with having Burgess and Eystead playing in fullback roles, but that was a scenario we found ourselves in, and with the greatest respect, they're not fullbacks. That's an area that will be covered very soon.
With a new signing?
Yes, I believe we need a covering defender that can do that job. Young Naylor will come into our squad this season, definitely. But as I say, you don't want to put too much of a burden on a young player. You want to hopefully be able to bring him in and give him that opportunity without hurting the boy. We're certainly very pleased with his progression. But no, right back, obviously a flexible defender is something that you do need, and I've been talking to the chairman this morning about it. I've identified a player, I've interviewed a player. It's just having the ability to bring him in at the right time.
The ability, also the money to bring him in, David?
Ability in different areas, obviously, and that's a factor we are. And we're in discussions, I'm in discussion with the chairman and the board here frequently about this and on developing. I've got players that can come in, and certainly I've been working very, very hard with the chairman and the board. Our club, we're making small steps, and we're very pleased with them.
You'd like to bring one more defender in. I think, talking to you in previous weeks, you're happy with your strike options. In midfield, I get the feeling you'd like to see maybe another signing in the midfield area. In terms of that though, David, you've mentioned that working with a smaller squad this season, players will have to go out, will they not?
Yeah, that's obviously that will happen. That's we're going to have to do that to generate those funds sometimes, and I think that players, if they know that they're not, perhaps I need a flexible squad, and we're going to need cover in certain areas. I feel very pleased with the progress we've made, and if players do move on, then so be it. But likewise, I feel that players should want to play, and we'll see. There'll be different equations throw themselves up in the next few weeks, I'm sure. But I'm very pleased with the ones we've signed so far, and I'm more than happy at the moment.
Has the club had any concrete offers for any players in your squad so far this summer?
No, I've had a number of calls. I think since the end of the season, a lot of managers seem to have gone away, and the ones that I've been dealing with are the ones that have been working very, very hard on getting establishing links, and certainly establishing paths for the future, and that's why you've seen us working so hard behind the scenes.
Moving away from the playing squad, just to bring up maybe a little bit of an old hat story regarding the league structure in the Blue Square Premier. Stories and reports admitting that Blue Square Premier are looking to increase the number of sides going up into League 2 and coming down from League 2. Would you support that, to increase the sides promoted from 2 to 3?
Absolutely. You look at the number of league sides or ex-league sides, I should say. I'm sure there'll be plenty of managers that would advocate that scenario. I certainly believe it should happen. If you look at the league above, I went to the playoff final, semi-finals, and I feel that there's a number of clubs that can certainly compete at that level, and I find it strange that it's not already happened, and I'll certainly be right behind it.
It's an ultra-competitive league, the Blue Square Premier, even more so this year. Meaning 3 sides going up, you'd probably look at 2 automatically and 1 in a promotion playoff campaign. Would it, shall we say, keep the season alive more towards the end of the season? Because as we saw last year, there seemed to be maybe just 4 sides that broke away into that those playoff positions by the time sort of late March came around.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Would always keep it alive. I would even be an advocate of going in a playoff with the teams above. I certainly, but in the relegation modes, you look at how Barnet scraped out of it, and I'd certainly feel that there's a number of teams in our division that can certainly compete in that league. No problem whatsoever. And you look at the fan base. We're blessed with some tremendous fans here. You look at above, and some of them are scraping the barrel. I've been disrespectful to them, but I certainly believe that there's a number of clubs in our league that will be able to sustain it.
Early favourites for next season, Luton, they're receiving the backing early on. What would you make of that?
Well, they've made some very significant signings and have the ability to bring in players on large wages. They're certainly a good club, a tremendous club with a big fan base, so quite rightly so. Made favourites, I think you'd be looking at Grimsby, and Darlington, you've got to say that. Whether they'll find their feet, who knows? But yeah, I mean, Luton are a strong squad, aren't they? They've got a very capable side and a very capable squad.
We're talking about the Blue Square Premier. It's important though to remember that we're still in June, and a lot can happen between now and August. How much do you think things can change? In terms of squads, you've mentioned already in the interview that managers have been away. Do you think transfer activity, players coming and going, are we still maybe in a phony war to use a phrase? We're not quite there yet.
I think there'll be a steady flow. I felt that before. I think that what you have seen is that obviously Cambridge have worked a lot. Wrexham are working very hard. Luton. I think there'll be a steady drip of players that continues to manifest itself, because there are a lot of managers out there as well. I will say that having to juggle, and that has to be the case sometimes.
Just two other issues to finish with today, David, in terms of what happens this week, both at this club and also in the footballing world. We'll start with the latter there. The World Cup starts. You've appeared in a World Cup advert, so you're well and truly part of the build-up to the campaign. First of all, England's chances.
I'm very patriotic, and I'll say we'll get to the quarter-finals.
Any further?
Depends on Rooney, doesn't it? Depends on Rooney. We've lost the centre-half, the captain. Whether King can stay fit, we'll see. But I think really it depends on individual errors in any tournament, doesn't it? If you can keep yourself clean sheets in a tournament, obviously it's 7 games, 8 games. Hopefully, the team can go out there and do themselves proud. I'm sure they'll have a fantastic following with an army of supporters there that will really be 100% behind them, and it'd be nice to give them a cheer, wouldn't it?
As a former centre half, you obviously got a lot of expertise in that area. You've mentioned there Ledley King. What do you make of him? Do you think he can form a decent partnership with John Terry, or is Rio Ferdinand as big a loss as people are making out?
No, I don't believe that at all. I think Rio's a very, very talented man, a tremendous centre half, and a good player. But I certainly don't think that Ledley King's a lesser player. He's been a warrior for Tottenham, and certainly an experienced campaigner. John Terry, with an armband on, still going to lead on the pitch. And be as vocal as he would be anyway. So that partnership, whether it's got the pace to deal with some of the forwards in that league, in the World Cup, it'll be an interesting. I think you're going to see England play counter-attack football, which is very much an Italian way of playing. And certainly with the setup of England, they're looking to hit people on the break.
As a former centre half, and you've also been under the knife recently, how does a player exactly play without a ligament in his knee?
Well, I had a cruciate and I had a lateral ligament, so it's very tough. But I think the most important thing is keeping him fit and understanding his injury. And Ledley King has got a great team in England. The medical team will be well aware of his situation, and now we hope he can obviously come in and fill those big boots.
As I mentioned earlier, David, you've been part of a World Cup advert. Now, you can't seem to escape World Cup adverts on the TV, apart from your advert, which I'm sure you'll tell me was the best World Cup advert so far to have screened. What other adverts have taken your fancy?
I haven't seen any telly recently, I've got to be honest. I've not watched the telly. I don't know. I haven't seen any, so great question, but I'll have to have a look at it now, Dave, and come back to you on that one, because I haven't actually seen any.
You got your advert on a DVD?
No, I haven't. I've seen it once. My wife was in the gym and she said it was on 4 times, and so I haven't seen any television, I must say that.
And just one other final topic before we leave it today.
Not Britain's Got Talent.
No, but did you watch that?
No.